my giant cup is going to be in the middle. I need to move it. I can't be known. I'm getting rid of this cup after I run.
This is only for the marathon, the cup?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to be a cup girl. And also, I get...
I like the cup girl life for you.
When everyone's like, oh, you forgot your Stanley. I'm like, it's not a Stanley. No.
No.
It's an Awala. She's not that
it's an
mainstream.
I didn't know it was an Awala.
Yeah.
It was like a Hydro Flask.
Caroline is obsessed with Awalas, but she doesn't have one.
I want one also. I haven't.
You have one. Oh, you want
I want like the
OG.
real, one that I can like toss in my backpack.
If my microphone.
Also, I'd like to put on the record that I did not receive a list with questions.
We didn't prep her at all for this one.
Professional with you.
No.
Okay.
Because this is just like a chat.
I'm just gonna. It's just like hanging out, you know?
It's just hanging
It's
out.
catching up.
We haven't
We
seen you in
don't
like
have time.
forever. It
You
feels
know.
like.
Well, we used to like. Yeah.
Well, our studios are now like for
Yeah.
eons apart.
Yeah.
So far.
Well, now that we all are in separate areas, like we don't come visit as often.
Yeah.
We need a central
There's no,
point.
like, one
It's probably your
person.
desk because you're in the middle. No,
Finally, it should be.
Yeah.
No, it should be.
because you're also next to Jess. I forget that you and Jess are next to each other all the time. Okay.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Looking for, intro.
Is there an intro
Your hair
song?
looks good.
Oh, thank you.
There is an intro song. Have you even listened to the episodes?
Intro song.
You're
an
such
intro-
a fake fan.
Yeah.
I have listened to.
It goes
For full episodes.
Excellent.
It
We did it in structures the other day.
That's funny. I like that.
was
Okay,
embarrassing.
it's nice and
If you're not
close to
listening
me
in
now.
structures, I feel like I can't not listen in that. I
listen
can't
to
afford
structures,
to
but
not
then he
listen
talks
in
about
those.
history, and I'm like,
True.
you're losing me.
Well, it's just like annoying when he's like talking about history and then he's like, "Oh, for time, I'm gonna skip half the equation."
How are you feeling about your marathon?
Good. I feel I'm
Tell me about
I'm
your
so
training.
guilty of,
Where are you at in the process? Like
well, I'm like done. Like,
you're done.
well, I
Because it's
knock
this
on
month,
wood.
right?
I'm running 22 on Saturday, and then I'm done. Like I taper.
When's the
After
marathon?
that, the 27th, October 27th. If you wanna
27th.
come, I'm trying to. It's hard. I'm trying to recruit people to like
I'll be there,
come. But like,
obviously. Or
I just think
already
I'm not
know.
gonna sleep, which is like okay. Like I know I'm not gonna sleep anyways.
That's fine though.
But
Drink your goos and stuff.
yeah,
Are
I went.
Are
I
you gonna
spent
run with the
$40
vest?
on all of them. So that's actually my stress right now
Run with
because
the vest?
yes, but like my main issue why I'm stressed is that where do I put the bib? Like the thing, like where do I attach that to?
Put it on the vest.
But the
Can't
issue,
you put that on the back?
yeah, but like if I put it on the vest, then I can't take off any layers. Otherwise, I have to unclip while I'm running, like not bobby pins, but
True.
safety pins while I'm running.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Like I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
Maybe
because-
on your next run you should
I
pin
know.
a piece of paper to your vest. You should.
You'll see me with a piece of paper like
what is Julia
flopping
doing with a
around.
loose leaf piece of paper stapled to
Yeah.
her?
What color should I wear? I think I want to do something like
Or
all
green.
like the same color.
Monochrome.
Well, my
You
vest
have an
is
outfit
blue
that's
though.
all. Then blue. I love blue.
Really? I was thinking either blue or orange with a blue vest and
You
an
and
orange
orange.
outfit.
I don't understand.
I don't. I look awful in orange. I just love.
You look
orange
good
as
in
a
blue.
color.
We're blue.
Yeah, I should wear blue.
Yeah, we're blue.
Nike has really letting me down because they don't have matching sets really. The only matching things they have are like spandex
Yeah.
and
And you don't
tops.
run
They
in
don't
that.
have running shorts and
Yeah.
tops.
That's true.
I also don't know if I'm gonna have to wear leggings. So now I'm like, now I need to get all different things and spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Should I just?
But like treat
all
yourself.
of
Why don't you
it?
get some Lululemon or something?
I did. I spent $150 on 2 sports bras 2 months
Slay.
ago.
Nice. Oh, you don't
And
run
I
in
was
leggings then. You run in shorts.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's gonna be that's the issue. Is I think it's transitioning to cold though. Like
I think you're gonna like running in shorts.
at like
though.
5 a.m. Yeah, I also think it's long enough that like
Yeah.
I feel like leggings, or I could do like the leggings that like cut off here, and then like I don't know. There's too many options.
So many options.
But I need to get it soon because I should test it out.
Yeah, you have to test it out.
Because I hate when like things are flapping everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
This
so
is-
excited for your marathon. I'm ready for you to
I'm
actually
just-
run it.
Oh, I'm just ready to. Yeah, I'm ready to. I imagine starting and I imagine finishing everything in between, which is the majority
I
of it.
think you're gonna like black
Just
out in
gonna-
the middle, don't you think?
I
Do you have a
hope.
playlist? Are you gonna listen to music?
I can't listen to music until like the very end because it
What?
forces me to run at that speed, and I don't like this speed of songs, so
really?
I have to listen to podcasts for a bit. I always listen to the same order of podcasts.
What podcast do you listen to?
I can't say it because I'm embarrassed by it.
Okay, are you ready, Julia? Hi, I'm Madeline.
And I'm Caroline, and you're listening to Talkitecture, the podcast where we gossip as
And
students.
spill the tea on all things architecture. And we have a guest today. We're finally doing an interview.
It's
It's her. It's Julia. Our friend Julia is
Yes.
finally here. We talk
Thanks.
about Julia a
A
lot.
lot.
Jeff
Long
even
alluded
said
to.
that Julia is the most
Yeah.
referenced person in our
Yeah.
podcast. And
Yeah.
she doesn't even listen.
no, I do listen. I listen on my runs,
Oh.
but like I also
We're in the
listen.
She didn't
I
even know if we had a
re-listened to
theme
Kate's
song.
also. No, I knew you had a theme song. I just didn't know if like it would play out loud.
Oh, I see.
Like that would be
no,
like
no. The editing, that's
good
edited in.
experience.
That
Like
would
I'd
be fun
walk
if it
in
played out
and
loud.
like start
Yeah, it's like,
playing.
Yeah. Okay, we have a few questions for you, architecture related. Okay.
Gotcha.
Some architecture, some not.
Some not.
I'm ready.
Combo.
We're gonna start with, where did you grow up?
Where did I grow up? Let's see. I grew up in Annapolis, Maryland. The sailing capital of the United States. Fun fact. That's it. Do I talk about my childhood?
Like, do you want me to go deep this time? No, that's good.
That's
So you
good.
grew up in Annapolis, Maryland. Where did you go to undergrad?
I went to undergrad at Scripps College in Claremont, California. So not Annapolis, Maryland.
That's kind of crazy. How did you end up there?
How did I end up there? I knew someone that knew of the Claremont colleges. I wanted to go to a small liberal arts school because I went to a massive high school, public high school. But fun fact, Scripps College is a women's college, one of the few historic women's colleges left in the United States. Proud of that. But it took me a while to get there to be proud of that because I was very embarrassed for a while to have
Really? Yeah.
gone. Or it took a lot of adjustment to go to a women's college.
I actually didn't know until just
You
now.
didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, I went to women's college. But my track team, so I ran Division III track.
Woo.
She's really
a runner.
good
She's a
at
track
being
star.
mediocre. Yeah, but my track team was co-ed. So it was 5 schools in one campus. And they share, like, because they're small schools, it's kind of set up like Oxford or even like any college. But like any
Like
college,
the best in the world.
It's kind of like Harvard or any college.
no, but like, well, Oxford is like the exact same consortium
Yeah.
type, but like UVA is the architecture school would be my like degree would be under the architecture school. You know, it would be a separate college
yeah.
versus because like
oh.
Scripps is humanities, Claremont McKenna is like econ, finance, Pomona is like fine arts, music,
Oh, so they
Pitzer.
just name each different
Harvey Mudd. Yeah.
college. Yeah.
Oh.
So I
Okay.
take classes, like I took classes at Claremont McKenna and Pomona, but I only receive a degree through Scripps College. So it was a unique experience.
Interesting. How did you like it?
I liked it a lot. I went to 2.5 years until COVID, but I can't complain because you guys, I've been friends with less school.
Wow. I didn't know it was an all-girls school.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah.
Was it like majorly different, or like when you're there you kind of don't even realize?
No,
Me too.
it's majorly different.
Really?
But I grew up. I mean, it's very liberal. If you're wondering, I mean, it's it's outside of Los Angeles, and yeah, so it's very strong female figures, but the beauty of a women's college is that your core classes. So we all had to take the same curriculum, but then like kind of like the architecture school, as you go through grades, you eventually branch out into your individual majors.
Yeah.
But those core curriculum classes were just with people who identify as female. And it opens up the conversation to so many things that you wouldn't be able to talk about.
Like what?
With, I mean, obviously, like, it's easy to think about sexuality first, but really just like your experience as a woman and like the female perspective on economics, psychology, philosophy is going to be very different than in a lecture hall with 150 co-ed students versus it's a small conversation with 15 women. And it was a pretty diverse group of women, and I really enjoyed that also. So I like that. But also, like, best of both worlds that, like, as I, like, went off into my major, which was media studies and digital art,
There you go.
I was with, like, other co-ed students, so.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be so empowering as like a woman.
Those
Like I don't even know what that's like, because
conversations.
sometimes when I'm in a group like with class with like men and women, I'm like scared to talk.
Yeah.
But like maybe that's like takes away an element of that.
It's like men's voices just kind of like sometimes drown out the women's voices, but like not having to be afraid of that and like just like I feel like you'd be more honest.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of honesty. You can't say the wrong thing. Like, it feels like a very safe space all the time. But more so, it teaches you how to be that loud person in the room.
True.
Because I thought that it actually was gonna leave me ill-prepared for the real world, but I think it taught me that I deserved to speak up and be heard in any situation. And I knew what I was talking about in, like, my specific profession and studies.
Wow.
Yeah.
What made you choose media studies? I also don't know what that is.
That was like my attempt at. So I started with econ actually.
Oh my God.
But that was just freshman year.
That was just a freshman phase.
Yeah.
Phase.
Well, everyone like I feel like goes into school thinking I wanted to combine business and art as a freshman, and then I took micro macro economics and I was like oh no. So then I decided to do digital art, but I was like I don't really want to be an artist. It kind of scares me to get my like all power to people that get their undergraduate degree in art, but I knew that I wanted to open up as many opportunities as possible within what I creatively wanted to do as well. And at the time, I thought I wanted to go into graphic design and do animation. So media studies and digital art combination, having like both those degrees, I knew would set me up for those areas, which is funny because I didn't do graphic design or animation, but
now you're doing stuff on Twinmotion.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I got to test out the software.
That's funny. I applied to school under animation for some of them too.
Animation.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I got into animating.
It's fascinating. It's very
so fun.
competitive.
Yeah.
It's very fun, but it's also very isolating.
It is.
Really?
Working on your computer, anything graphic design related, like you're constantly being creative, and like if you're lucky you get to like work on a team on some like graphic design projects, but often you're remote, you're kind of like off on your own and creating deliverables for like weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And then you go back and report to your team, and I just didn't want that life at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So interesting. I feel like most of the people in architecture with like different backgrounds, they all chose it because they loved like art and creativity, but also business. I feel like that's like everyone.
Business or like math or something.
Yeah. They all wanted to like combine creative side with like something else, you know?
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted something that was more technical.
Yeah.
Very
That's what
technical.
Very technical. And I actually was looking at construction management for a while because my father's an engineer.
I could see you doing that.
So when I was applying to like 1,000 architecture firms as someone who didn't have a degree in architecture after undergrad, and I didn't think I was going to get a job, I actually was applying to programs in construction management, and in the meantime I was going to get my welder certificate.
Stop. The Julia lore goes on and
the story
on.
takes so many turns.
But,
Really does.
thank God it worked out.
I'd say.
Wait, but how did you go from like deciding media studies to then like applying to architecture firms?
Yeah. So that mainly had to do with this is going to sound like gave up. But graphic design, I loved everything to do with graphic design and just using Adobe Adobe products. But my best friend in college, shout out Sophie D, she was a fantastic graphic designer.
Really?
And she knew how to brand herself. She knew what she was going to do over the next 10 years in order to build the portfolio that she wanted. And I was kind of like I wouldn't say falling far behind, but I was losing motivation in doing some, like, I guess I didn't see the value in it.
Yeah.
As much as she did, in like working alone and creating art in like a solitary style. And I was like, how it didn't feel like there was many routes in her graphic design to like give back to the community, and or apply like technical skills, and like work on job sites, which I always saw myself working or having some exposure to like construction job sites. I did it.
Yeah.
I wrote a or part of my thesis was about women in construction, so I wanted to kind of build off of that. Yeah, so that's when I decided, okay, now it's time to look for something else. And I just randomly had a friend on the East Coast who was the secretary for an architecture firm that had 5 people in it.
Stop.
In the Hudson River Valley in New York, in Beacon, New York. And I went up to the principal. He was there like at an event supporting my friend. And I went up to him and we got talking, and I was like, he was like, you're in graphic design. That's so interesting. I don't have a website. I'm trying to like build my digital portfolio. And I was like, that's really interesting because I could do that for you, and in return, can you teach me about architecture and give me some drafting skills? Because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get like
This is
just any
fascinating,
job.
Julia.
This is
So,
crazy.
well, the crazier story is that my parents ended up like semi-adopting that girl. so she's
God.
so she's kind of like my
Aw.
like fake sister.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out Cynthia.
So
All the
nice.
shout-outs. I love it. She's a podcaster.
But
at
yeah,
heart.
so she kind of got me my first job in architecture. So I started that. I worked there part-time and then full-time while I was an undergrad. And then it kind of escalated from there, and that's how I got my full-time job in Tacoma, Washington.
Okay.
You're kind of like a little networker.
Yeah.
Like you know
You, like, go up
exactly
to
what to do.
people.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, no,
You do.
architecture was for me was a series of like people taking a chance on me and like pulling me up the ladder, and also like a lot of luck. Not actually, no. I'm gonna reel that back a bit. I worked really. I'm not gonna say I didn't work really hard because I feel like
You did.
women have
Yeah,
like
you
or
did work
often don't give themselves the credit they deserve, especially because I was like, I'm not qualified for any of this because I didn't have a degree in architecture, of course. But I did work really hard and moved to Tacoma and had my first job there, and then ended up in Seattle for a bit and then came here afterwards.
Did you like Seattle?
So
Go
I
back there?
love
No.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Tacoma's the hard one.
Yeah.
Well, Tacoma's beautiful. I actually liked living in Tacoma better,
Really?
but my job in Tacoma was a big struggle. It was my life in Seattle was, I don't know, I don't like the city as much, or like getting up and you feel like you're kind of part of the rat race when you get up and
Yeah.
you take the link, which is the metro, to work every single day.
The link.
The link.
Funny name.
That is a
Yeah,
funny name.
but my office was like in a skyscraper looking at the Olympic National Park.
Oh my
It was like pretty
God.
sick. And
What was your first architecture firm that you worked
Yeah.
for?
so that was the one in Beacon, New York. So that was, can I
Yeah,
say the
say
name?
the name.
Okay,
Say the
Calderon Architecture and Design Studio.
Yay.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to everyone.
Shout out.
No. Well, I won't shout out the second architecture firm I worked for because that was
You
that
don't
was
like it.
a struggle. No, it was kind of a sweatshop. It was a very it was a very traumatic. I've talked to you guys about
Casual.
this. Yeah, we've talked about this before.
Ah.
Yeah, it was. I learned each one of these. I'll like put the caveat on that I learned so much at each of these. Even the second one,
Yeah.
I had two like kind of turning points in like working towards architecture. There was one moment where I met the owner of the 5-person firm and was like, oh, architecture, I should look into this. But then I had the moment in Tacoma when I was like working 70-hour weeks and sleeping there some nights and didn't have any friends and had like I had a boss that would email me, text me really nasty things at like 3 a.m. A lot of harassment. I would cry in the bathroom.
Reddit, perchance, that we were talked about. That's crazy.
It was pretty crazy. But I mean, of course, at the time, I didn't really know. I kind of just thought that was like, that was what you did. Is you put in the time, you grinded.
Yeah.
And that's like because that's what they teach you at the beginning of architecture. And I think there's some truth to that, in that you have to grind, you have to do like the boring work, like moving around toilets for like several months, but
moving around toilets.
But everyone around you should be empowering you, should be teaching you, and should be honestly care about your general health.
Yeah, your
and
health
wellness, because I've met some fantastic mentors along the way that really did care about me, and those are the people that I learned the most from. Yeah, I forgot what the question was.
What did we ask?
What was your first architecture firm?
Yeah, so CADS was my first architecture firm. My second was the one in Tacoma, unnamed, and my third was Perkins & Will in Seattle. Which
oh my gosh, I forget you were from Perkins & Will.
Yeah, they were
What did you think
they were
of
great.
Perkins & Will? You like them?
Yeah, I loved Perkins & Will. It's not my concentration, or my hopeful concentration in my master's program is historic preservation, which is not really what Perkins & Will does. A lot of adaptive reuse, but I would say like the majority, it changes by office. Every office has a specialty at Perkins & Will, at least in the U.S. And the office that I was in was mostly healthcare, and I was on one of the few multifamily residential teams. I worked on like mid-rise, high-rise projects there. I dabbled in some healthcare, but
dabbled here and there.
Yeah, but they had some it was crazy. They had a lot of doctors, like someone that went and got their MD and then went back to architecture school.
Oh my God.
Really?
And then pivoted their career.
That sounds miserable. So much school.
Well,
that's
so
from
much
being
school.
a doctor to architecture school. You're never really
You're never out of
it's
like
not
when
like
do
a
you
break.
when are you doing anything else?
Yeah.
Other than
They
school?
must have. I think they must have practiced medicine for a couple of years before going back to architecture school, because I think they saw a real issue with what I heard was poorly designed hospitals, and people are dying because of the transition from the emergency room to the OR,
I can understand that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they saw all these issues and they're like, I want to make a difference, and they went. So I applaud them, but wow, I didn't realize it's quite a niche, and there was a couple people at that Perkins & Will office that did that, and I thought it was fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did you apply to grad school?
I applied to grad school. What year is it? I applied to grad school.
2024.
Actually, it was only 3 or 4 months after I started working for Perkins & Will.
Really?
Or started the application process, and I was like, what am I doing? I'd moved there then 3-4 years in a row because of COVID. So I'd moved to Maryland, to Key West, back to LA to Tacoma to Seattle, and all over the place. So I was pretty exhausted from moving and just meeting new people, I don't know, gaining friendships, losing friendships. But I felt like I was losing momentum in my academic study career, because I was if I don't do it now, I might never do it. And then I also felt, I got really lucky, I also felt this kind of shift in the market, or the industry, as in post COVID there was this major boom of people started building again. And I was so lucky that that's how I got a job at Perkins & Will, because they just needed all the young people that they could get, because it was on your marks, get set, go, the second that things opened up after COVID. So then they were okay, we have all these projects that stopped and started again. But the thing is, at some point it has to come back down. And that's part of my motivation working on like federal projects now, or like even like healthcare academic is a little bit more stable than residential mixed use, because 3 months after I left Perkinsville, my entire team got laid off.
Oh my god.
Wait, what?
Oh my god. That is really lucky.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they were fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's
that's a huge layoff too. That's like
This music that's
bad.
playing
This
also in the
music
background
also
is
is
crazy.
the beat
I don't know
dropped
if the
right at
listeners
that.
can hear,
Yeah.
but yeah, the music started right as Julia
my
dropped
God.
that bomb.
Wow.
Are you glad you went to grad school?
yeah, I'm glad I went to grad school.
How do you fit in at Charlottesville? Like, do you like your
Fit
life
in?
here? Because you've been all over the place.
Yeah.
How does this
Yeah.
rank amongst other places?
Yeah, rank us.
The issue is like I'm a student here. Like I can't really
Yeah.
Yeah.
experience. I think I would love, not say I don't like Charlottesville, but I think I would love Charlottesville if I could like go to more restaurants and like, I don't know, build more of like a social life outside of school, which
Yeah.
is something like I'm still working on, that I think like everyone in the
Yeah.
school like
Yeah.
wishes that like we knew more people outside of school, but it's just hard with our schedules.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, I love the green, I love the mountains, and there's something about like the second I stepped foot off the plane, or actually I drove here. I drove back and forth across the country twice.
Second
the
you
drama.
stepped off the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, so then I
Car.
stepped out of the car in Maryland/Virginia because I drove to Maryland first. I was like it like smells like home to me.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I just never had that on the West Coast. Not that I love the West Coast, would love to go back there one day, but it's very calming. And my sister lived here, of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
which unfortunately she just moved to Dallas. So
Did she already move?
that's right. Yeah, she moved.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
but I
Wow.
love living near Shenandoah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
it's nice.
um,
We've gone on a few hikes.
yeah.
We should get that.
Fun.
We've gone on one hike.
hike.
Well, I
We can
wanna-
do it again.
Yeah, Tristan and I were saying we want to go do like get a group camping spot.
Who's
And,
Tristan?
Oh my god, do we even want
Shout out!
Shout out.
I figured he would come up at some point.
Yeah, we're saving
we'll
it to the end.
formally
We'll get
ask.
there. We'll
Yeah.
get there. We'll
We're not there
do a
yet.
formal ask.
No, we wanted to go camping really badly the other weekend, and then like something happened. We like found
was
like a
raining.
spider, and we were like,
You got sick.
I got sick, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
we realized we didn't have anything.
we realized a squirrel was maybe getting in between our walls and our floors, and we were like, oh, we can't be in the outdoors.
No.
That's
No.
too much.
We also don't even have a tent.
Yeah,
we
we
just
don't
need the
have
stuff.
anything.
Although I think
Yeah.
we should go
Car-
camping.
I
or
have
at least,
all
like,
the stuff.
set up an afternoon. You do?
Yeah,
We should go camping.
and it literally
Should,
takes up
bro.
so much space in my apartment, and I've only been camping twice
Okay.
since I've been here.
I
We're
feel
going
like
camping
that will
then.
be like a good reset for all of us to
Yeah.
like
We need to touch
just,
grass.
Like we need to touch grass.
It needs to
Definitely.
be when like the foliage is out, and just like
Yeah.
one night where we like go up in the
Oh,
evening,
just
we have like a
more.
bonfire,
Yeah.
and then we sleep, and then like we can take a hike in the morning, or like whoever can leave if
Yeah.
they want to. Just
my
like
God,
a no
yeah.
pressure,
That would
like
be,
No,
like,
that
amazing.
sounds
stake your
nice.
place.
Yeah.
So easy.
We really
Yeah.
get stuck in our bubble in the A school.
We do.
It's
We
like
do.
unavoidable at a certain point because
We
it's just
just-
like it's like your full-time job. Like it's
It really is.
it's more than a full-time
job with homework.
with
that
your professors
requires you to
emailing
stay
you
there.
like 6 p.m.
That is what's great about Charlottesville, is you can easily get like a nature reset, and
Yeah.
there's no. I always thought initially I was like, I'm gonna go to architecture school in a city. I really wanted to go to Chicago. I would have so much FOMO constantly
Yeah.
if I like lived in a city and was like in the studio constantly.
That's true.
But we're not really missing out on much here when we're
That's kind
studio.
of yeah. I feel like for the most part content. Some
Yeah.
days I'm like, oof, we gotta get
Yeah.
out.
I
I'm
mean,
having that urge now.
it's more like the social side. I don't really miss the outdoors. I don't know why. I'm just not outdoorsy. I'm like, oh,
Well, you grew up in a
fine.
city,
yeah.
so it's like that's
I
different.
I don't really care about that. But like you just like miss I miss talking to people about something other than architecture.
Yeah.
Like just like going and getting a coffee and like
Yeah,
like an interaction with like anyone that's not
Yeah,
like
that's why
yeah.
my sister and like her friends were like such a nice outlet,
Yeah.
because they would only be talking about business school stuff, but at least like I could be like, yeah,
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
And your
good to
roommate
hear.
is a landscape architect, so you're not getting like
yeah.
still
Yeah,
architect.
urban
Her stuff
planner
is
now.
like well, yeah, she's an urban planner now.
Oh,
Yeah, her
cool.
stuff is interesting to listen to because it is like different, but
it is, yeah.
Same scope.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Thing.
Okay.
We are gonna ask a little bit more about studio life and stuff going on right now.
Cool.
Yes.
So we just recently had a pinup
Mhm.
for our first ever group project that we've done as a cohort.
Mm-hmm.
So how did your pinup go the other day?
I think it went really well. It was our first group pinup, or it's our first group project in general. But I like.
What?
Wait.
What?
This is where like the tea becomes a little too serious because we're on.
Just try not to name drop.
Well, no, it has nothing. My group is fabulous.
Your group
it had
was
nothing to
great.
do. But I think I didn't realize how awesome my group was until
Yeah.
being exposed to some of the other dynamics. I can say this in like in a friendly way.
Yeah.
But like some of the other dynamics in other groups seemed a lot more challenging, I think, than ours. So I was extremely grateful that everyone on my team was like very, very passionate, very dedicated.
Good aesthetics.
Also, oh my god, I've never been finished for a pinup earlier.
Yeah,
Like,
same.
I like
No,
didn't do
really.
anything the night before. It's like
Yeah,
insane.
And I
no,
was
I
home
didn't do
by
anything.
7:30 the day
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
chilling.
And
Yeah.
what's crazy is that we had the same amount of deliverables for our group project as we do for like normal single
It
projects.
is actually crazy. But it's like, it has its other challenges.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know?
It's a lot more stressful in studio because you're trying to make sure you're on the same page as people.
Right.
You're trying to like
You have to
make sure
everything
that you
look
have like a
good.
schedule.
Yeah.
Like there's always the push and pull of like, oh my god, I'm not doing enough. Oh my god, I'm doing too much. Like you never know. You don't want to like make your teammates like, I don't know, annoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also like pressure. Like you don't want to let them down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of my work was like, they're gonna look at. I was like so scared about specifically this like landscape plan I did over the weekend, and I was like, they're gonna say it looks ugly. I was like showing trust, and he
All
was
your
like,
stuff
it's not
looked
that big a
great
deal.
though.
Thank you.
It
Yeah.
really did.
I didn't see it, but
It
I
all
know
looked
it did.
cohesive. I feel like the boards that you couldn't tell who did what
Yeah.
were
yeah,
the most
those were the
successful.
best. Yeah.
Very
That's-
cohesive ones.
Yes. Yeah.
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 I mean, I think everyone did great. I
think
think
so too.
it was kind of a vague. It was a step into urban planning, which
Yeah.
people,
It was
or at least
massive
I'm not.
scale.
We're not used to thinking about that many
Yeah.
factors outside of like the massing.
Yeah.
So it was great to.
Yeah.
I kind of
really liked it.
I liked
I
it.
liked
I'm
the
really
scope.
sad it's over.
Yeah.
I'm so
I
sad.
Well, now it's gonna get a little bit more difficult, I think.
I
Yeah.
think it's just like different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. For people
Yeah.
that don't know what we were doing and don't
Oh,
go to
yeah.
school with us, we had to do a neighborhood analysis and like new strategic plan for a neighborhood in DC. So like we had to like redesign like this whole entire neighborhood. And usually all our other projects were just like single buildings. So this was like
And we
A
had
lot
to
of work.
create a big map using ArcGIS,
Yeah, big map,
and axons,
yeah.
diagrams, the
It was a
whole
lot.
model,
but like
everything.
I felt like the amount of people per group, like it was all attainable. And it was just like you had a hard time and you weren't finished if your group was just like disconnected and weren't working well.
Yeah.
You know?
I also feel like some groups took it like so different than others. Like it
Yeah.
was just funny to see how people interpreted it
Mhm. Yeah.
differently. But I liked everyone's.
Yeah.
I have a question for Caroline.
Yeah.
She's asking questions
Um,
now.
Did you feel like a personal connection at all to this project? Obviously, you're not from that exact area, but I felt I got a little defensive, I think, at times of like the thought of destroying
Yeah.
like certain
Mm-hmm.
like small business or
Yeah.
the area, I think. And I'm not from DC, but I've spent many summers
Mhm.
living in DC and have a lot of friends and family that live there.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. It was weird just because my professor that I got, he doesn't know anything about DC and he's not like he spent most of his time in practice on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So then this is his first studio at UVA and he's
Mhm.
coming here and he's trying to tell us about DC and I felt like I was like butting heads with him at
was
certain
weird.
points. It was getting weird because I was like trying to say things and like be polite. Like I'm not the type of person that like will contradict my professor just to like contradict. Like I was
Yeah.
just like saying something and he would just disagree with me and I'd be like, but I actually kind of know more than you on this.
Yeah.
And I actually do
Yeah.
know that you're
because you
wrong.
did, yeah.
Like it is like just like a fact.
Mhm.
Like yeah.
I
Like,
feel like
it was
that's
just like
good.
it was like good. It was just like a little frustrating because I was like, it was more an issue with him as a professor, I guess, than like with, but I did feel like a connection to the area because like I spent a lot of time in that area. It's like near the zoo. Like I would always go there. It's like a very cozy area, and I think he has a lot of ambition for that area, and he wants to turn it into this like architectural ideal of what high density housing would look like there. And I was like, I totally get that vision, but like I don't want to like destroy, like there is a reason people come here, and he kind of just didn't get that.
Or especially like Cleveland Park is one of the few areas that I think doesn't necessarily have to be as dense yet.
Yeah.
Obviously our work is theoretical, so that's
that's
a big part of that.
That's the weirdest part of
that
everything.
is the weirdest part of everything, but
it is funny, but it is like kind of, it's like really fun to watch everyone's ideas because like I know the area pretty well, so it's just like fun to like, I don't know, like to visualize it because it's just more, it feels almost more real and tangible. Like I feel like I understand people's projects that I normally wouldn't understand as well more because like knowing the place. I think it's like really interesting.
Yeah. All right, next question for you. What is most different between this year and last year?
Most different. I'm a little less stressed out, to be honest.
More stressed than last year?
I'm less.
Oh, less. Yeah.
I'm less stressed out.
I agree.
The model making. It's funny because I went into architecture school being like, I know how to build things.
Yeah, sure.
Like, and that's when I was like, I'm an art major, and also like being specifically, can I name drop professors' names? I don't know. Being in the studio that I was in first semester last year, I could kind of like, Talkitecture. Let's bring it back to that.
Let's bring it back.
I'm gonna take ownership.
Leah actually did.
Leah came up with the name.
But I could kind of like, I couldn't necessarily Talkitecture yet, kind of, sort of. I mean, I have work experience doing that, but I could art talk my way through things. I mean, you're similar, like you took art history courses. Like I went to such a liberal art school that I could work through the ambiguous basically. Now because there's like such fine guidelines, I'm struggling a bit more with that. But there's like so much more freedom when you don't have to come into studio every single weekend and just work, and it's so expensive finding materials, and it's so frustrating how much waste you go through. Like if I ever had a studio, or if I was a professor, which I don't really want to be, but and had a studio, it would be like, okay, you made a model, now let's like deconstruct it, and like whatever you can find, and like that old model, like that's what you're gonna make your next model out of, because I don't know, I think it's sustainability is like practice what you preach, and it's just like, it's really expensive, it's really wasteful, and we're already spending so much money.
I see the value of making a lot of quick models, but then it's like you run through material. Like the 6,000s this year, when we pass by their desks, I'm like, is that how much?
That's how much shit
material and stuff we had. We walk by and their desks are covered.
Kind of.
And our desks are like barren.
Think about how much
No, I know.
SHIT.
I know.
No,
think about how much SHIT that was on
Sorry, I
our
don't know if
desks.
you can cuss.
You can.
Yeah.
But like that's why I like the wood models, because we had so much free wood in the wood shop. Like we never bought a piece of wood the whole entire
and
year.
Scraps anyway.
It was all scraps, and like I never felt guilty whenever I made a wood model. It always felt like even more like inventive, and like I felt more proud of it.
I'm
it was
so
like,
glad we don't have foam.
Recycled. Oh my god, foam is like, no.
It kind of smelled like burnt foam. Did you notice in the, maybe it was today, maybe it was yesterday.
I did.
There was like some type of like fire, I think, in the Fab Lab. Because, or I don't know.
Oh my god.
But it was smelly.
If they make us use foam for the massing for the next part of the assignment, I'm gonna like.
I don't think they will.
I think
that they're not allowed. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think that there was like actually like a.
And I honestly,
thing.
well, no, that petition didn't follow through. I feel like there's a like
unspoken.
No, you're allowed to use the green foam. That's what I think about the
Really?
petition. People use the green foam. You're not allowed to use styrofoam anymore.
Mm.
But kind of what I'm running into as like a facilities person. Also, to
That was the
all
next
of
question.
all of
The
our
next question is,
listeners,
what's your job?
I work building maintenance at the A school for shout out the best boss.
You can say his
Dick
name.
Smith.
Dick Smith.
Everyone loves him.
If I have to like clean up or like touch, if I'm so embarrassed when I have to carry a styrofoam because the glares that I get from people because they think that I'm using it. Meanwhile, I'm just like getting rid of like people's old like
Stuff,
waste,
yeah.
and then there's like specific ways or we try to like trash recycle it in like specific ways, but most of the time it just ends up getting trash because styrofoam isn't recyclable.
Yeah.
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 That
Ugh.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sad. I hate that. Do you like your job though?
I like my job. I am
You kind of run this place.
Yeah,
people
you-
ask
no.
you to
Running
like
around.
fix their chairs,
Gosh,
raise
no.
their desks.
No, I
You
mean
broke a
it's
chair, you're on it.
I learn a lot about building systems. I think maybe this is what I think people think about me, but also I should care less about what people think about me.
What?
But I do an undergraduate job, and I work with undergrads.
yeah.
But
I never once thought that about you.
Really?
Though. No,
I haven't either at
I've
all.
never made that.
because I work with like almost exclusively undergrads. Phoebe
I
works.
kind of think that you are Dick Smith. And
Yeah.
you guys
Oh,
are one and the
it's like
same.
his embodiment.
Yeah.
I'd ever be so lucky. I don't know how to make lotion or sunscreen.
He makes
so I
lotion.
never be-
What is this man?
handmade lotion, sunscreen.
No, Julie, you're teetering on that line. After this
Yeah, you
marathon,
are.
who knows what's gonna happen?
You had
I'm
that
gonna have a lot of
pickling
time on my
phase.
hands. Well, that's actually why I'm gonna probably put in more hours. No, but it's a very undergrad job in the sense that I like today I got paid to sharpen pencils for like 45 minutes to an hour. But the main thing is I knew I didn't, at least for the first year, in my like working time that wasn't schoolwork, I didn't want to be looking at a computer.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be building something, and I wanted to be learning about building systems. And as much as I'm not necessarily like going in and like fixing pipes, which is originally what I maybe thought I was going to be doing, I'm building like very strong relationships with like the administrators, and I do a lot of
everybody.
Yeah.
yeah, kind of. And I got really lucky last year in particular. I'll never take my job for granted, even if I'm like sharpening pencils or like cleaning, I don't know, like random messes. I like helped this professor out of the building because she had back pain. The next day she was my reviewer. And she gave me
Really?
She was so nice to
Oh
me.
my
Julie,
God.
that wasn't necessarily the
Great.
nicest.
Wait, what semester was this?
This was mid-reviews last year.
Spring.
First semester.
Oh.
Or
Fall?
maybe it was final. It was final reviews of fall.
Oh my God, that's really
Yeah,
lucky.
yeah.
You kinda-
So that's like a tidbit of the job.
Yeah.
I think
That
I'll
just goes
phase
to
it
show,
out.
be nice to people
Be
because
nice.
you never know who these
Yeah.
people
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm definitely gonna try. I think to phase it out once Dick's gone because I don't
Yeah.
need to.
He's the glue of that job.
He
Like,
kind of is.
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, I also like we get away with a lot.
True. No, you don't.
Like, we
you
do-
don't break any. Julia's
you
the
would
worst.
never break a rule.
Anytime we are considering breaking a rule, Julia's like, nope, we really shouldn't be doing
Yeah.
that.
Facilities person, this is not allowed.
Like you went to plug in your computer today, and you're like, I don't want people to trip on this cord. I really shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, there's certain things people don't think about. Like everyone's like, I want to put a mini fridge under my desk. I'm like, you will blow out every single person's power strip if you like put.
oh, one like a real
Plugged
mini
in.
fridge,
Like
not
it-
like a mini.
Even if you
like
put like
mini.
a curling iron in one of them, it would like blow out all the circuits on your row.
the things you
Oh,
know.
God, yeah.
Okay, I'll never blow dry my hair. in these.
Yeah.
Yeah, people do.
I cannot believe the undergrads would do that.
Totally.
Yeah.
On their way out.
On their way
They like bring a
out.
change of clothes.
Yeah.
Also,
Go
I
hit the
read
brats.
a lot of I read all of the facility requests because they all get. By the way, everyone who sends facility requests, it goes to my email.
Oh my God.
It goes to Dick's email
Really?
also, but so I get all
You
the
got mine.
Got
so-
mine too.
people give a lot of personal information.
Like what?
And specifically when not saying I don't ever share it with people. Like I think
But you can share it on this podcast.
but like when people talk about their ailment when you're because in order to get your desk raised, like technically you're supposed to medically have like a reason.
Sure.
So people give the craziest medical reasons. And
Really?
I'm sure some of them are.
Have you got any like funny ones?
Oh yeah. Well, there's more just like funny one. Like there's funny emails that people like parents will send emails to Dick sometimes,
Oh.
being
Oh,
like
what?
the A school is like the ugliest building on campus. Like, what are you gonna do about it? And he's like,
Stop.
Nothing.
It's like, what?
I don't know
What
like,
do you want me to
just
do?
keep it running. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do
yeah,
anything.
So it's funny.
Wow. I didn't give a medical reason for needing my desk raised. Did
That's
you
fine.
respond?
If you do it in the beginning, like there's more razors available.
Okay.
It's like
Well, I kinda
towards
have
the
to
end
go towards
where
the
like you'll
end.
get like ignored if
Yeah.
you because like we run out of the risers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you think of your studio professor this semester?
I
We
like-
all, for the listeners, all three of us are in different studios.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't say his name.
no, I'm not gonna say his name. God, I wouldn't do that. No, I knew what to expect. So this is a
Yeah.
professor that we all had
Yeah.
for one course, two courses. So he was our
Yeah.
reviewer for fall semester.
Yes.
And then he was our professor for one of our classes. So I knew what to expect. I think
Mhm.
compared to some of the other professors, I like lucked out.
I think so.
It's also like it's one thing if you're like, oh, they may or may not be a good professor, but he's a good person.
yeah.
I
He's a
I
really
respect
nice-
him as an
Sure,
architect
yeah.
and as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And even if like sometimes I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah.
annoyed with my professor, which
Yeah.
every person
Yeah.
is at times. I think he's a cool, funny. He's really funny also.
He is
Without
really
trying to be,
I
he's
am
really
he's not
actually
trying to
addicted
be.
to him.
He's
I'm
like,
addicted to
yeah.
him.
He's got a great personality.
I love him so much. You lucked out with that one.
Yeah.
He's a really sweet guy, and he
He's
has
just
great
sweet.
like his actual work is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's
stunning.
yeah.
And
I'm
you know
sure.
he
I
has-
haven't really looked at his work.
You should look.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And looking.
You should look. All right.
He has good intentions too, though.
What's
know?
the last question on the list?
I don't know.
It's so hot in here right now.
I
We're
don't know.
almost done. One more question.
It's okay.
What is that?
I like chatting.
Who's Tristan?
Oh, I was reading this way wrong.
Julia has
Yeah, you keep
had a
shouting out.
love story in
Blossoming
the A
through
school. Thank God
architecture.
she made it to the A school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I became a cliche or a studio cliche. Yeah, he's
Someone had to
my
do it.
boyfriend. We sat next to each other in studio last year, almost for a whole year. We kind of sat like adjacent to each other for the first semester, and then we sat next to each other.
That really amped
semester.
things up.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
did.
And Madeline Caroline like convinced me to, or no, they
We were literally the
honestly made
catalyst.
We were
made
the
it happen.
catalyst.
It's funny. Yeah.
Grad school prom.
Mhm.
Oh my
Grad
God.
school
Guys,
prom.
literally go back and
Go
listen to
back
that
and
That's
listen.
That's honestly so embarrassing that it was grad school.
episode. Julia,
It didn't
like
actually
what
happen. on
we
the
were
job.
doing that night.
Yeah.
It
Getting
also
locked
wasn't-
Yeah.
outside everything
It was
and
really-
sitting on the curb for hours.
Breaking
We didn't
the
like go
cars.
like it wasn't crazy. We didn't like go like hook up after prom. We just
No.
like established that we liked each other.
Yeah, it
on
was
that
just
night.
It's a big deal,
it
though.
was an
it's
acknowledgement
like the next step. It's
of-
so it
Yeah.
was so cute.
Well, we knew like it was either we don't do this at all or we like take it really seriously. And I felt like I also had to tread lightly because
Yeah.
you know, I'm a cougar.
yeah.
Julia thinks she's the oldest person on the
God.
planet,
I
and
really
she's
feel
like
so
2 years
old
older than
sometimes.
us.
Yeah, but
No, it's so cute. Like, who else has sat next to someone in their architecture studio and like started dating them?
Yeah.
Like, that does not happen.
really?
Only
Yeah,
one
that's
other
a lot.
person we know.
True.
Well, if you think about, look at how many couples teach us.
Yeah.
That
crazy.
That's
is
but that's because like
crazy.
UVA attracts them.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's like we have like a high concentration.
It's true.
Yeah.
But it is
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
weird at times.
It is weird.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
a school love story.
Yeah.
EA school
Shout
love
out my
story.
boyfriend. I'm gonna make him listen to this.
Yeah,
Good.
you should.
You better.
You
He's got a lot of
If you're
running to
listening,
do, so
he
Yeah.
got a lot of
You
what?
better be.
So-
sprinting.
Wait, is he
gonna
running the
be-
marathon with you?
yes.
I always forget.
Oh yeah.
He's
Yeah.
very quiet about it.
Yeah, well, he doesn't do it for the outfits and the glory like I do. No, I'm just kidding.
enough.
No, yeah, he's
That's why you should be
it.
doing it though. TBH.
But
Yeah.
but
Are you guys gonna like
uh,
keep the same pace, or are you gonna separate during?
oh no, we ran together once,
What?
and that was last week.
How did it go?
It was fine.
Yeah.
Like
How long was that run?
it was only 5 miles, so it was like okay.
Who's faster?
Well,
You.
You.
I can already tell.
no.
Training really hard.
Believe I'm not like nervous to say I'm faster because I am.
Trust
Well, I
me,
was a
he's
sprinter
faster.
though.
Like, did track and field.
I did track and field.
Yeah,
No,
like
he.
53.
I mean, but he's also like a guy. He's also like a 22-year-old guy, and I'm an old lady. No.
Julia, I swear to God.
No, so he started training pretty late in the process, but he's already done a marathon before. Yeah. So he like knew what was up.
Yeah.
Like he and it's so hard with school to keep motivation, especially when it's
I don't even know how you find
all
the time to do these long runs.
I have to go do it I have to do 5 miles on the treadmill after this, which sucks because it's after I know, and it's like late at night.
Oh my God, Julia.
But it just turns into like time. I don't know. You get so used to it.
It's kind of a lifestyle. It really is. Yeah. And I didn't even learn this for real until you did it.
It just takes up so much of my time. Or and
not in a bad way, I don't think.
I would say in a bad way, considering now I don't cook anymore, and I also have pulled back at work, so it's become really expensive because I'm receiving
expensive hobby.
Yeah, it's running.
Well, this is your last month, so it's okay.
Yeah. Running is not free.
No.
Wow.
No,
I think it is. It's not.
But yeah, he could very well beat me.
I guess
but I'm gonna try really hard.
You should.
No, I think
we're
you're gonna
beat
beat him.
Julia.
Yeah.
We're Team Julia.
Yeah. For a while. But no, that's not the point. It's that we both.
It's not the point.
No. It's not about winners.
And find success.
Yes.
Finish and find success and feel satisfied with how you did.
Yeah. I don't even need to feel satisfied. I just need to
need to cross the finish line.
Yeah, I just need to cross it. Like, if I need to crawl past that finish line, I will.
The night before, you should take like 7 melatonins.
No. That is the worst. That's such
sleep. I want you to sleep.
Typical Madeline advice.
Take like 20 Advil and 7 melatonin, and you'll feel amazing.
The answer to everything is just pop every single pill, and multiple of the same, and you'll feel great.
Not until
you really have to wake up at like 4 a.m. That's what I feel bad about. So I'm staying at Caroline's house because she's just my Airbnb.
Yeah.
But also, your dad and I have a special friendship.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like as nervous asking you because I was like, no, her dad will be fine with that. It's also like I'm running a marathon. I'm not like going on like a romantic weekend or
No, yeah. You have a purpose. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'm so excited. Mm-hmm. Yay.
Yeah.
I think that's all the questions we have for you.
Amazing.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
Have any questions?
Any more shout outs?
Talkitecture. I'm so proud of you guys. You really, when you decide you're going to do something like Saga, like Talkitecture, like I think initially you may not have realized how much you were getting yourselves into.
That's true.
But you go for it, and that is very admirable.
That's very nice of you to say.
So, and
we are honored to have you as our second guest.
Yeah. So happy to be here. Yay. And it wasn't as weird as I thought.
No. Good.
It's going to be really hard for me to listen to my voice.
You honestly don't.
I'm going to sound either like a really old woman or like a little tiny baby.
Say that one more time. You're never allowed back on here again. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to Talkitecture. Follow our Instagram, TikTok. Watch us on YouTube. We may have a Pinterest. And that's it. Thank you, Julia, again.
Yeah,
and bye.